What if I told you that you can be sent off before the game even starts? Or a goalkeeper is only allowed to hold the ball for just 6 seconds? These are the rules in football you didn't know exist. And first, here's a messy penalty that was so clever, it had to be studied in universities. Who knew that you could pass from penalties? Messi certainly knew that, but at the time, he shocked everyone with this clever trick. This dude caught everyone off guard, and so did our next rule. Well, now imagine Messi's goal was penalized, and while celebrating, he takes his shirt. Does he still receive a yellow or not? Well, according to this rule, regardless if the goal stands or not, the player will still be cautioned even if the goal is chalked off. You can imagine the rage. If I score what appears to be a winning goal, rip my top off in celebration, only for the goal to be disallowed by VAR and I'm booked. Man, a double whammy. That's just crazy, but you know what else is crazy? The fact that this referee is responsible for stopping pitch invaders. Yeah, you heard that right. You've all seen pitch invaders sprinting across the pitch while they're being chased by the stewards. Well, turns out that's not their job. The law book states that it's the job of the match official to prevent pitch invaders. Can you imagine Mike Dean chasing down a fan who's jumped the advertising hoardings? Technically, he should though. I'd love to see him try. Would be an amazing sight. But this next rule gave players the power to disobey their coaches. Yeah, see, it was the Carabao Cup final, and Chelsea had played a tough 0-0 game against Manchester City. When it was time for penalties, coach Maurizio Sarri tried to sub Kepa off for Calbero because Calbero was better at taking penalties. But what we witnessed next went on to blow my mind.
He's determined. It's a war of wills at the moment between the goalkeeper and his manager, but you know who the boss is.
Kepa straight refused to come off. My man was telling everyone, no, I'm not coming off. Now, you could say that the referee should have persuaded him off, but according to the rulebook, if a player refuses to be substituted, the game will continue. No one can convince him to get off the pitch. That is insane. But think of this. Your team is playing some beautiful tiki-taka, and the defender passes back to the keeper. He receives that ball and then picks it up for more than 6 seconds. Penalized. See, there's a certain hidden rule that says goalkeepers cannot hold the ball in their hands for more than 6 seconds. The rule stops goalies from wasting time by holding the ball too long. And no, it's not a senseless rule because it helped the US women's soccer team in their game against Canada at the 2012 Olympic Games. USA versus Canada. Canada led 3-2. In the 78th minute, the referee ruled that Canada's goalie held the ball for more than 6 seconds. An indirect free kick was given, and that indirect free kick led to a penalty, and boom! The US went on to win the game in overtime. So, you see, it can and it did change the course of a game. A tiny detail that we all forgot on the football pitch are corner flags. I bet you have no idea how important they are because no corner flags equals no game. Yes, don't believe me? Well, it happened at the 1974 World Cup final. Germany was due to face Holland and the game was set to begin. But once the referee spotted there were no corner flags, he delayed the game until they were fixed. Man, he's got some balls delaying a World Cup final. Fans were furious, but they couldn't do a nada. And he was the referee. If you think that was bold, wait until you meet a referee that gave a wrong goal. Boldly, and nothing happened. What a man! We all love the rowdy atmosphere football fans bring onto the pitch, but what happens when they throw an item that interferes with play though? Well, the laws of the game state that the play should be stopped, if and when the ball comes into contact with them. But Darren Bent famously scored through a beach ball deflection in the Premier League. The goal stood where it shouldn't have. The beach ball interfered with the play, but the referee incorrectly gave the goal. But a rule that constantly robs us of classic goals is the offside rule. Some hate it, some are indifferent, and some fans see it as necessary. But I could make a case that a lot of people don't even understand it. Okay, ordinarily, a player is offside if he is behind the last defender when receiving a forward pass, right? Well, sorry to break it to you, but you're wrong. The offside law actually states that there needs to be at least 2 players between the attacker and the goal. The keeper is one, the last defender is the other. If the keeper moves ahead of the ball, whether he decides to go full Manuel Neuer to take a penalty, or if he's gone wandering into no man's land to deal with a corner, the attacker would be offside unless 2 defenders are playing them on. Kepa Arrizabalaga used this little rule against Harry Kane in a Carabao Cup fixture set against Spurs, and fans were a little surprised. You see, football is a fast game, and while playing players can only get a glimpse of each other. Before, it was common for players to write undershots or cycling shorts under their actual shorts nowadays. So much so that there is now actually a law about it in the FA handbook. It says that shorts cannot be a different color from the main color of the club shorts. Random, yes, but actually there's a logic to it. It's to avoid confusion when players from opposing teams come together. Many players wear shorts under their kit shorts, and if they do, the undershorts must match the game color of their kit's shorts. Now, you might think it's a good idea to set up your own back pass. You could try to play smart by flicking the ball into the air and heading it back to your goalkeeper, but this is not allowed. In 2017, Ivan Perisic tried it when he was in his own 18-yard box. He flicked the ball up and headed it back to his goalie, and he got penalized. My man was confused about what he did wrong. If you think that was surprising, wait till you find out about the next rule. A goalkeeper is not allowed to touch the goalpost during a penalty kick. Okay, he's not allowed to shake the goalpost, but that's still absurd. Why? Well, the rulebooks state that before a penalty is taken, the goalpost should be perfectly still. In other words, the referee should not waive a penalty to be taken if the keeper is seen smacking the post to try to intimidate the penalty taker. Oh, come on. They're taking the fun out of penalties now. But at least we can force opposition players to score own goals. Maybe from a free kick. Again, not allowed. Although this one is quite popular. There are no own goals from throw-ins and free kicks. If a player throws the ball into his own net from a throw-in, do not celebrate too hard because he's just teasing you. The goal will simply not count. The same applies to free kicks, where if a player gets the ball into his own net, a corner will be given to the ops instead. Did you know a referee is eligible to start the match if only 7 players show up? Yes, doesn't matter if you're short on players or your players are all sick. If you're up to 7, you better not concede 7. That's the deal. But what's interesting is the same rule also applies in the case of a red card, where a team can be given a maximum of only 4 red cards in a match. A 5th red card would mean the match would have to be stopped. Now, we have the weirdest rule in football yet. The 1 meter rule in free kicks. This rule states that the attackers are not allowed within 1 meter from the wall when the free kick is taken. What for? Well, it's because attackers could waste time before a free kick is taken in different forms. This rule was introduced because when a player from the attacking team is part of the wall or near it, then he or she can just move and create space, which can be used by the free kick taker to score. This completely defeats the purpose of the defensive wall, which is to offer some degree of protection in front of the goal. The International Football Association Board, or IFAB, which governs and develops the laws, had to say this: attackers standing very close to or in the defensive wall at a free kick often causes management problems and wastes time. There is no legitimate tactical justification for attackers to be in the wall, and their presence often damages the image of the game. Which rule did you think was the most absurd? Tell us in the comments below and click on this next video now. Okay, click it. Come on, just click it. See you on the other side.